items or not. Oh, okay guys. Glad to see you back here on the channel. If it's your first time, welcome. Been a while, a lot going on. Hadn't done a video in a while. I'll try to do a video on why. I kind of got ran out of my shop. Kind of had a tree issue right above the shop, so I had to have that took care of. It took me several weeks. It really wasn't safe to be in here, so you know, had to kind of wait to get the tree people here to take care of that. So I'm kind of behind on videos, hadn't done a lot, but a lot of worry over whether everything I had was going to get smashed. What we're looking at today is a Highway 1 Fender Strat. This particular one is a 2008. And these were made from 2000. Let me put this amp on standby. Okay. These were made between 2002 and 2010. And this one's a 2008. And these are very loved guitars or very hated guitars, depending on who you ask. They are made in the USA, Corona, California. They're not Mexican-made guitars. That's been kind of a thing that I've heard over the years is, oh, a Highway 1's just a Mexican-made Strat, which there's nothing wrong with Mexican-made Strats. So, no, they're actually made in the USA, or were made. Quite a few changes in them over the years between the 2002 and 2010. So I've got some specs and some information written down, some notes I'll try to go over because there is quite a bit of difference in them. And the Telecaster version I'm not that familiar with. I hadn't looked into that. I would say they kind of go along the same lines with a lot of the changes, minus the change in the headstock. And I'll try to get this up here where you can kind of take a look at the headstock and the body. And these are not poly-finished guitars. Okay. To start with, in 2002, when they first came out, they had the small headstock. They had smaller frets. They had vintage style Alico 2 pickups and just your standard electronics. They also had an alder body with a acrylic lacquer finish. So that was a little, and they also had a zinc trim block. That was 2002 to 2005, 6, somewhere in that neighborhood. Came out with a humbucker, HSS version, somewhere around either 2004, I think. I think it was a little bit prior to them changing some of the things over. Okay, where they changed things up after 2005 is they went with the 70s style headstock. They started using jumbo frets, went with a steel block in the trim, and changed to Alico 3 pickups and the grease bucket electronics, which is basically a treble bleed. But the way these work different is you have a tone for of course your volume, you have a tone for the neck, a tone for the bridge. You don't have a tone for the middle. It's reverse wound, hum canceling. They also, these Highway 1s use a more narrow string spacing. And I think that's kind of where this really a Mexican Strat disguised as American Strat deal came in, because Fender used the more narrow string spacing to help with the jumbo frets, where you weren't sliding off the fretboard. The narrower frets helped with that, or the narrow spacing helped with the frets. I'll get that said in a minute. So they use Ping tuners. I think Ping actually made the bridge, which is a Far Eastern company. No problems, no issues. Great, great stuff. So this one's got a few little marks on it. You can see right there, there's a couple of little skip places, and there's a few little, places it's been tapped a few times. But these, from the 2005 on to 2010, used a nitrocellulose lacquer finish. It's not exactly the same as like a Gibson nitro. It's not going to crack. It's a softer type stuff. You can skin it, you can scratch it, and you can actually wear it through. This one's in exceptionally good condition, I think, to be as old as it is, but it has a different feel to it. It's got that nitro feel, and it will polish up. You can shine it up. It's kind of matte, but like where you play it a whole lot, you can see, right here in this arm curve where it's kind of shiny. And the whole thing's shiny, but it's not shiny like poly. But they did use acrylic lacquer on the early ones, and then nitro on the later ones. And I just like the feel of it. It's got the, like a modern C-neck, 9.5-inch radius fretboard, a proper rosewood fretboard. You could get them in maple or rosewood plastic nut, which probably is about the only thing I see that I would want to change on this. The pickups, I would suggest going and watching like Chris Buck, if you're familiar with him. Most of you that are guitar people are. He's had a Highway 1 for years. I think his is actually one of the earlier ones, but you can go and get a lot of good sound demos from people that's got better recording equipment than me. And I've got something in here vibrating. That's the trouble with trying to make any kind of thing in your shop with sound. There's always something vibrating and making a racket. You can't find it. So anyway, these pickups, the threes, the Alnico threes, with the electronics, it's more of, I want to say, a contemporary type sound. It's more of the 80s, like I say, Bryan Adams, Yes, I don't even know who to even think, that kind of music. It's not the 50s old, that type sound. This guitar isn't anyway. It's got a different, it works better with overdrive. It don't just, freak out like some single calls do if you've got quite a bit of overdrive or something. So it's kind of, anybody, of course that's easily changed if anybody didn't like them. But these guitars, when they came out, it's interesting to go back to like 2005 or 6, whenever we got internet, that started getting YouTube, started getting forums, started getting this thing, and looking at people's opinion of these guitars and how, they wouldn't pay a penny over $400 for one, and used they wasn't worth $150, and it's all the finish is all going to fall off of them. They're all going to be junk. They're no good. And now, just an average on these things on price are around $1,200. I think this one probably sold for around $600 when it was new, I think. So, hey, if it's doubled in value, and it's the thing is, if you go on eBay Reverb, there's not 30 or 40 of these things listed for sale. You get 3, 4, maybe 5, that are up for sale. People that's got them really like them. They were above a Fender standard, but they were below the Fender American Professional, or however it was. They were not the very bottom of the pile, but they weren't the top. they were somewhere in between, reasonably priced for American-made guitar. And, you know, I've been looking at them, interested in them a long time. I had a chance to pick this one up back several months ago, and, you know, just getting around to kind of doing a review on it. Or not necessarily an informational video. How's that? But anyway, that's that with it. And I encourage you to go on if you're interested in these things, curious about them. Yeah, check out Chris Buck's video on his. Quite a few others. It's got some really good sound quality. You can tell a little more, even though YouTube, it's hard. The best thing to do is find one and play it. Well, you see whether you like it or not. But that's kind of what they are. Highway 1, and I plan on getting a telly, you know, just on down the line, because I really love the way this thing feels and plays, and you know, really a nice guitar. So, guys, I hate it's been so long since I've made a video. A little bit rusty and crusty, but anyway, hope this was interesting and enjoyable. If it was, give me a thumbs up, and if you don't, and you give me a thumbs down, nobody will see it either. So anyway, guys, until the next time, see you.